Saturday night. I hope that you've had a really great Saturday. I know for me, I started early and I went to Mexico this morning, so I'm exhausted. I went and visited Mexico City, one of their Toastmaster clubs. It's an English speaking club, and there is a lawyer that heads up that club that has been attending our Seymour Speakers Club here in Vancouver. She had come into Vancouver a couple of years ago, visited our club. Therefore, when she went back to Mexico City, she looked up Toastmasters and went and plugged herself into a club there. So she's been visiting our club via Zoom for about 5 weeks now, and she's invited me a few times to come and visit her meeting. And up until this point in time, 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning wasn't going to work for me. But because she's been so diligent about coming to my meeting and asking, if I would come to hers, I thought, what the heck? I mean, when else am I going to be surrounded by a bunch of people in Mexico City? Probably no time soon, during COVID anyway. And how cool it would be just to pop in, because I can do that. So, it takes me 1 minute to hook up via Zoom, and all of a sudden I'm there in Mexico City with 21 other people on the screen. It was so cool and a really great way to start the morning, even though I had a late night last night and I'm completely exhausted today. But I did way better at just chilling out today and just relaxing, and it's been a while. When I was trying to sort of recount the last time that I took some time for myself and just did nothing. No homework, no nothing, which wasn't the case today, but I did a lot less today. I put a lot less on my list, and I just sort of reveled in doing nothing, breathing, hanging out, and just having a good time with my own presence, and certainly in this garden area that you can see behind me. At night it's pretty spectacular. I love when it's lit up, and I have it more lit up, of course, now because you wouldn't be able to see me otherwise. But during the day, the hummingbirds come and the butterflies and the bees, and I'm just so recognizing how much abundance is everywhere around me. When I can contextualize that in a way where I'm sitting and I'm just breathing, just being, and all of a sudden I notice the flitting of the butterfly's wings and the bee that's hanging around all the plants that we've planted, and all the plants that are growing really big and tall. And, understanding that as we learn how to nurture our plants around us, I also get to internalize something that nurturing. And so today, that's what today became about, was nurturing myself. Excuse me. Understanding that nothing is static, and if I dam a river, it becomes stagnant, but that it's okay to just be on the shore and chill a while. And so that was new, because in the past, almost 70 days, that hasn't been my truth. I've been on the go, intensely working on a daily basis, to the nth degree. And so it just felt so good to be able to relax that energy, just kind of hang out and be in the moment, which again is a practice, right? And today, one of the things that I came across, and some of the things that I did, was this idea that we have destination addiction. So we're addicted to and preoccupied with this thought that happiness is the next job, the next person, the next, party, the next car, the next whatever, it is that we're making it outside of the happiness coming from within. And this idea, as long as we have it, that it is somewhere else outside of us and that we're in pursuit of it and it is the next best thing that's coming, as long as I see it as such, it will always remain outside of myself. And so, although that's been, I guess, my truth for many years, this idea that when I lose my weight, then I can speak. When I have more education, then I can do what I want. Then I. And unfortunately, that's not the way life works, right? It's just not the way that the formula actually works, or that I'm finding out for myself. And after having such cool experience yesterday of this emergence of profound measures, just the things that sort of boggle my mind in that idea of feeling sorry for myself, switching that so immediately to something else, and then creating different results in that resonance and understanding, and how fabulous it is to be on this journey of self-discovery where every step that I take gets me a little bit closer. And as long as I dedicate to having goals on a daily basis, to continue to meeting them. So even though I didn't have a lot of stuff on my list today, there was a lot of stuff that I, in the last 70 days, have implemented. I've upgraded my software. All of a sudden, those things that were burdensome and easy to forget and I felt a bit clumsy in are now just sort of the default. What else would I call it? The default place, the place that I now in the morning just naturally, habitually, I've created a habit. And because of that, there's an automated process that happens. So it's just an automatic thing. It's not necessarily something I think about anymore. Whereas at the beginning, I really had to think about it. I had to write it down. Of course, I have 90 million alarms on my phone, and I still have a lot of them there. And every once in a while, it goes off when I'm not in the room or I'm a little far away or whatever, and I hear it and I go, oh, my alarm. Now I'm, going to find my phone so that I can turn it off, because not all alarms are the same. Apparently, some of them don't turn off by themselves. And how often I found myself in that reaction mode. This thing that was put in place to help me, I'm now angry or aggravated at. And so it's just an opportunity, right? So instead of saying, oh, way to go, Tanya, you're at it again. Instead of saying that, I go, wow, isn't that interesting? You get to switch it. So what do you want to switch it to? Yay! Thank you, alarms, for keeping me in check. Thank you for taking the time to make sure that I'm on track. And as soon as I switch that, it's kind of like, when I was saying, when I'm drinking so much water, I'm using the washroom more often. A plus B equals C. That's kind of the way it goes. And at first I was feeling annoyed by that. I was like, oh, again? For goodness sakes. And now every time I thank my organs for working. I thank my body for working in concert. I thank myself for the harmonious thing that the body does so miraculously behind the scenes. And now we're moving into, studying environment and poisons in the environment, and I can foresee where things are coming in the coming days that are going to be a little bit hard to look at. They're going to be something that I'm actually know that I'm avoiding today. So I put the brakes on when it came to that, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm feeling content. I'm just going to sit with the things that I did learn today and not push it, because I do know that when I haven't had enough sleep, when I'm stretched a little bit too far, when I push myself that little bit extra, because I have time, so why not? Then that ends up me usually boiling over. And that isn't a good experience for me, and it certainly isn't a good experience or great experience for anybody around me. So having the wherewithal today to know to stop myself from going to that place, even though I know somewhere inside that it's out of avoidance of that, allowing myself the grace just to be in that space and be okay with it, and not push myself to the point where I know could be a breaking point, because I can feel it. When I sense and tune into my feelings in my body, my feelings in my mind, my feelings in my heart, the things that I know about myself, when I tune into those things, the answers are there. And instead of forcing myself, which sometimes in the last coming weeks, it kind of feels like I'm force feeding myself this stuff, right? It's not, I don't feel hungry right now, but I still feel like I have all this, this stuff on my plate, this content on my plate that I need to eat because I'm falling behind. And what's that going to look like? And I made a commitment, and I'm supposed to keep my commitment, and I'm navigating all of this stuff. I'm not great at it yet, but I'm practicing, and I practice every day with the intention of getting better. And so I think, and I make up, that that's the point, right? As long as I'm moving towards what it is that I say that I want, that I'm telling myself the truth in all circumstances, or that next level of truth, whatever that looks like, when I'm being kind and compassionate to myself, when I'm doing that for myself, then that automatically emerges and I give that to others. It's something that I can give to myself on a daily basis. And so reminding myself that it's okay, it's a Saturday. I worked last night so that I didn't have to work today. My boyfriend's preoccupied with his boat, and that's okay. And that just because I didn't have anything to do today, or I didn't have as much to do today, and I should be doing it and doing it and doing it, that realistically what I figured out the other day is that by cramming all this stuff in, I don't have a chance to digest it. So today, giving myself the opportunity just to digest some of the stuff that's on me right now and in me, and allowing myself the grace just to be okay with it. Because I've been trained from so young to make that mean that if I take a break, that I am being lazy. If I take a break, then I'm not doing the most that I can. When I take a break, I don't want it as much as anybody else. And if I don't take a break, I hurt myself. And so that to me is the most important thing, because the whole point of any of this is to make and create and love and nurture myself to the point where I've never done that before. And so in order to do that, I need to learn, when the pendulum is swung all the way one way, how to bring it back to the center and allow it to rest here a minute. And we're always at choice around that, right? So, my greatest hope today is that you just allowed yourself to chill. You did some breathing. Maybe you felt some joy. You created some sort of adventure for yourself or play. Every day is a gift. Every day is a gift. And the more present I become, the more of a gift it becomes to me. I deserve that. You deserve that. We all deserve that. We so all do. And that's exciting. Because as I'm developing on a daily basis, I'm learning things and now giving myself the chance to digest it in a way that I hadn't seen, that I hadn't been, realizing it, switching some of those things that are maybe careless and or aren't as supportive as they could be, or they detract from what it is that I'm trying to create, and just allowing myself to be wherever it is that I am in this moment today. Understanding that life is not static, that it's in continuous flow, but I'm regulating the flow. I've got a regulator on there today. And I'm going to regulate, how much is good for me, instead of being dictated from this place of hustle up, don't be lazy. Better earn it. I wonder if any of you can relate to that feeling. If I'm not doing anything, that I'm not worth something. And I'm learning how to celebrate all my wins. When I look at the sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and books of writing that I've done in the last 68 days, when I look at and reflect on the goals that I've made, the vision that I've become clear on, the steps that I'm taking on a daily basis, some of the goals that were there 30 and 60 days ago have now developed into a habit, a positive, life-enhancing, empowering habit. All because at one point in time, I made a decision. I made a decision that I was going to be on this path, dedicated to myself, walking my truth, and learning how to just peel the layers back as they come. One moment, one day at a time. So much love from my heart to yours. I'm so glad that you could join me in my garden of hope tonight. And I hope that you have a good evening, the rest of your Saturday evening, and that you have a fabulous Sunday. I'm going to deem to be off social media as much as possible tomorrow and give myself even further of a relaxation and break. My boyfriend and I are going to go and have some quality time and go exploring and adventuring away from this house, but socially distanced and probably in nature. So I hope that you have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow evening. Love you. See you tomorrow.